Hey guys, welcome to the News Channel 9 digital streaming studio where we have some breaking news going on and we wanted to take you live to the scene. You can see in the screen beside me, this is a Weigel's gas station on Highway 58. You can see the police tape there and police presence there in the background. We have a crew live on the scene where we know that a suspect dragged a deputy with his car. We just heard from the sheriff a few moments ago. We're going to bring you his interview in just a moment. First, though, we have AC Barker. She is live on that scene. She's been there since this commotion kind of started. AC, what can you tell us about what you've learned from that scene there?
Yeah, Latricia, like you just said, we spoke to Sheriff Austin Garrett just a couple of minutes ago, and he gave us some preliminary details of what happened. So right here at this Weigel's on Highway 58 southbound, just before 11 o'clock this morning, detectives were doing a narcotics investigation in which they did find a suspect here. Now, what happened was that suspect was not, or rather he was refusing commands from law enforcement, and so he then attempted to drive away from the scene. And in that process, another detective was getting into his car trying to get him out. And then when he drove off, he dragged that detective a little bit down the road with him. And now that detective is being treated for injuries. But also during that time as well, Sheriff Austin Garrett tells me that he believes that the detective's body may have struck another vehicle in this entire altercation as well. And so they ended up about a little bit a mile and a half down the road in front of a comic book store on the 5000 block of Highway 58 North. And that is where we saw that suspect get checked out by EMS and then get handcuffed and put into a patrol car.
And
Now,
AC, I want to stop you just a second to point out to people watching that they're looking at a map about the two locations that AC was talking about. So down here we have the B&M Amusement. That's a comic book store, which was the one scene. And then over here we have the Weigel's gas station. That is where is that where this began, AC, or is that where the suspect was taken into custody? Which scene is which?
yeah, so they are correlated. It started here at the Weigel's before 11 o'clock. And when he was going down the road, they ended up at that comic book store. I actually saw the suspect get handcuffed and put into the patrol car. It was in front of that comic book store on the 5000 block of Highway 58 North.
Gotcha. Thanks for that clarification. And then, so right now we see in the video that we're looking at a car still pulled over, police surrounding that car. Do we know how that vehicle is involved yet?
So we do not have those details yet. Like I said, the details that Sheriff Garrett gave us were very preliminary. We don't know the details of why this caution tape is there right now. Those individuals in front of the vehicle, we're not sure how they're involved in this. What we do know is that one suspect is in custody right now and is also being treated for injuries at the hospital. And they made sure to let us know that the public is not in danger and that one suspect involved is in police custody right now. And that is all we know so far.
Okay, AC, thanks. If you can stand by for just a second, I am going to let viewers hear directly from Sheriff Garrett. So we're going to go ahead and listen to what he had to say on the scene there.
This morning, just before 11 o'clock, Hamilton County Sheriff's narcotics detectives into narcotics distribution in Hamilton County. Here in the 5500 block of Highway 58, they were conducting an investigative stop at this location. During that interaction with the suspect, they were giving the suspect commands. The suspect refused those commands and began to flee in his vehicle out of the parking lot. In the process, he drugged one of my detectives, and it appears from that right now that he possibly struck another vehicle with his body during that interaction. Luckily, my detective is okay. He's being treated right now at a local hospital, being observed to see if he has any significant injuries. The suspect was pursued south on Highway 58 by other detectives and deputies with the sheriff's office, where he was forced off the road, taken into custody. He's been taken to a local hospital to be observed as well. I think it's important to note that this is what your detectives and deputies do every day in this county, is they're working to eradicate this poison that's being pushed on the streets of Hamilton County in the city of Chattanooga. And I'm grateful that my detective wasn't more seriously injured.
So this started as a narcotics stop.
It did. It's part of an investigation. And also during that, one shot fired by one of my detectives. Luckily, no one was struck.
And this was down the road at the 5000 block of Highway 58.
Yes,
right?
It was south of this location.
Okay.
Is that
And
the amusement store? Or is that somewhere else?
Yes, it's south of 58, about a mile.
and then what's happening here right now, are those two incidents correlated at all?
They are. That's where the suspect was taken into custody. That's where he was forced off the road.
He was forced off the road into this gas station.
No, the incident began here. He was forced off the road at the other location
yeah.
south of here. Yes. And
Okay.
during that interaction, my detective fired a shot. And again, I'm thankful that my detective was not injured or one of my other deputies.
Okay, so it started here and then ended up
It did.
there. Okay, just making sure there's clarification. You said he drugged one of the detectives, is that
Yeah, the
correct?
suspect was in a vehicle. My detective was trying to get him out, along with his partners with the narcotics division. And during that interaction, the suspect attempted to flee and drug my detective a short distance in the parking lot. And right now, based off some video we've reviewed, it looks like my detective possibly struck the front end of another vehicle with his body. Possibly. But this is early on. This is very preliminary information. So right now, I need to get to the hospital to check on my detective.
Okay, so that was Sheriff Austin Garrett, again, giving an update on that situation on Highway 58. He says his detective, one of the deputies there, did fire a shot when this was going on, but that shot did not hit anyone. We do have a couple of pictures we want to take a look at here. Again, on your screen is the live scene from the Weigel's gas station. In this part of your screen, right underneath my picture, that's happening right now. But these are some of the pictures we've gathered from the other scene. This is the B&M Entertainment comic book store where they took the suspect into custody, just a little bit down Highway 58. These are the people sitting around that car that is surrounded by police tape, a little bit behind AC at that Weigel's gas station. And then this is one of the investigative pictures from when they were on the scene trying to take someone into custody and figuring out exactly what was happening. I do want to pull AC Barker one more time back on. AC, like we know in these situations, we won't know a lot of details, but we do know the suspect is on his way to the hospital and at some point will be booked into the Hamilton County Jail.
Yes, absolutely. Once he's treated for his injuries, it does sound like that will be the next step. And like I said, both the detective who struck a car with his body and this suspect are both being treated for injuries as we speak in the hospital.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you so much for that report there. And people can follow you on social media the rest of the day for updates, right?
Yes, absolutely. I've already posted some preliminary updates. As we learn more information, I'll be sure to post that as well. AC Barker TV on Facebook and X.
Perfect. Thank you so much, AC.
Thank you, Latricia.
Good reporting there from the scene. Again, let's just recap what we know about this situation. What you're looking at here is a live picture from the Weigel's gas station there on Highway 58. Let's take a look at where we are in the Highway 58 area. I'm just going to pull up a map that we have here. Let's see. There we go. So over here, the Weigel's gas station on Highway 58. The sheriff says this is where the situation started. They were making a stop in a narcotics investigation on Highway 58. They called it an investigative stop. They tried to get the guy out of the car, but he did not comply. And then a detective, as he was speaking to him, tried to get closer to him and ended up being dragged by that suspect's car. They say that video evidence from the scene shows them that that officer may have been dragged into a separate car that was sitting there. That officer, though, that detective is okay. Then they pursued that suspect down Highway 58, down here to the B&M Amusement, which is about 2 miles away. You can see from that Google map, that is where they took him into custody there. And then the Weigel's gas station, that live picture there you're seeing is where, again, that all started. So we will bring you updates throughout the day. Again, the good news here, the deputy is okay. The suspect also taken to the hospital and expected to be okay. This began as a drug investigation and ended up with a huge police presence on Highway 58. So we will learn a lot more information. We're expecting to get a press release from the sheriff's office in a little bit said. And then once that suspect is booked into the Hamilton County Jail, then an arrest affidavit will be filed. That typically will give a lot more detail about what they believe he had with him. They did say that they got a large amount of narcotics in this arrest as well. We'll know the who, what, when, where, why when that affidavit is filed, and we will bring that information to you live. Again, this is the good resource about what we're able to do now here in this streaming studio is bring you information as it happens. So that's a live picture. AC was live on the scene, and then look at the maps and the sound that we've already gathered. So we're bringing this to you as it happens straight from our newsroom. Be sure to keep covering and following this story on social media and on News Channel 9 beginning at 5. Thanks so much for joining us.